Hello everybody, Baggy here, just going to take you on a virtual tour of the Quedgeley Scout and Guide Hall. Obviously there are still regulations in place, but actually it might be easier for our younger members to see it on a video rather than me explaining it in a very long email. So before we go in, just a few things to remember: that none of the children can return until their return to scouting paperwork has been completed and the OSM has been updated. So wherever possible, scouting would like us to meet outside. That could be at the hall or it could be at another venue. Could we please ask you that you toilet your children before they arrive at their meeting, just so it avoids us going into the scout hall. So for every meeting, your child will need to bring with them a backpack. In that backpack should be a filled named water bottle. It also gives them somewhere to put any coats and anything they might remove, so that we don't have lots and lots of clothes all mixed up together. So as you can see, parents, there's a lot of caution tape and some very big signs here. With regulations still in place, unfortunately parents, you're still not allowed to pass this point at the moment. Hopefully that will change soon. You will need to bring your children to the gate and drop them with their leader, who will be waiting on the other side to welcome them in. Now, as we are not allowed to paint the pavement, if you could try and keep your 2 metre social distance when you're dropping and collecting your children. And for extra safety, you might want to wear a mask as well. Bear with, let's get the gate open, and here we go. So as you can see on the car park, some orange lines spaced about 2 metres apart, so that when your child does come through the gate, they shouldn't be any more than this distance away from the child in front of them. Currently we have a nice long line there across both sections. This is to allow us, when we're meeting outside, to keep our bubbles separate. So when we are meeting outside and we need to have both bubbles meeting together, especially on Beaver Scout night, it might mean that leaders need to park their car somewhere else for that evening, just so that we can observe our 2 metre distance rules. So when the regulations have eased and we are allowed to meet indoors, the children will go into the building from this direction, and when they return to you parents, they will be coming from that direction via the fire escape. So before we go into the hall, let's go and see our new notice board. And on here we have our Quedgeley Scout and Guide Group QR code, which older members and leaders can scan on their way in, and of course reminding us of our 2 metre distance and how we help to prevent. And also, very importantly, for older members, do remember that you will need to wear your mask currently indoors. So once inside the corridor, it will be a quick temperature scan, and also using our hand sanitizer to rub and clean our hands before we go in. Okay, I'm just going to draw your attention. We are going to look in these rooms a bit later, but just drawing your attention to the numbers that are on the door. Those are the maximum amount of people that are allowed in that room at any one time. Okay, in order to keep our 2 metres social distancing. Okay, and then we're off into the hall, where there are a few changes that have been made over the past few weeks. So some things haven't changed. We have our mobile phone box here, and we have our subs and activities box there. Now obviously parents not being able to come in means that our young people are going to have the responsibility of looking after their money for different things. So if parents, if there's money involved, if you can envelope the money up with your child's name, and then they will be able to bring it in and pop it in the drawers And if they are older young people, mobile phones can be put in the boxes, okay? But please don't forget to take them home at the end of the session. So you'll see there's lots of extra folders on here now, but the one that we're most interested in is this one. It's the visiting log. So obviously our young people should be on registers, but for anybody that's coming for a visit, then obviously they would either scan the code outside or put their name down in the visitor's log. Now these are normally, if nothing happens, these are normally deleted within 6 to 8 weeks. So they're removed from the file and they're shredded. So it doesn't stay in here for very long. So as you can see, since we were last here, there's been some changes to the decor thanks to all our groups and their fundraising efforts. We have new floorboards, and you might have noticed a little change to the front door as we walked through it too. So well done to everybody, and thank you for that. Now we've got a nice new hall to come back to. So here's one of our new additions. It's our nose wiping stations for our young people. So obviously we're employing a catch it, bin it, kill it regime at the Scout Hall at the moment to keep everybody safe. So there will be tissues on the side for the children, blow their nose straight into the bin. So when we were out in the car park, we saw some orange lines that would initiate 2 meters apart. Inside is no different. We've popped our little blue spots on the floor, 2 meter distance, to help our young people know where they should be standing and how close they should be to the person next to them. So also to help our young people manage the situation, we have our Stay Safe posters along the pillars. Now currently in scouting, we are bubbling our children into groups for their schools and community, but this is just to help the children that if we are meeting inside and outside the hall, that we need to stay in our bubbles. So as well as everything else, we've put some new signage on our bins so that we can do some recycling and not have the hall cluttered with lots and lots of general waste. So in this one now is the paper and card. This one is our general waste. And when we have a trip into the kitchen in a moment, I'll show you the food waste bin. So of course all of you now would be familiar with the PPE. This is the scouting and the guiding PPE, we've all got them. Now you might find your leaders prefer to deliver their meetings wearing perhaps one of these, a visor, which I will put on for you. Okay, nothing to be frightened about, okay, nothing to worry about, but it does protect you and it does protect your leader. Some leaders prefer to wear their masks. Again, for the younger members, nothing to be frightened of. It's just something for leader and children's safety. Okay, so don't be alarmed or worried when you come in if you see one of your leaders wearing either one of these or one of these. More for our younger viewers, I think, on this one. Okay, I'm just going to pop that on the Cub PPE. Both units again have got their little thermometers, so when they're out and about, they have all the equipment they need to keep us all safe. First aid, personal sanitizers, etc. So the whole thing about coming back to scouting is to make sure that we do keep our young people nice, safe and secure. You will see over here that I have the fire exit open. That is so that we can have a constant airflow through the building. So the front door may remain open, the inside door may remain open, but obviously we have an airflow going through the whole of the hall. Over here, okay, we've put some tables across because obviously it is not safe for young people to sit on the canvas chairs at the moment. So the chairs and the tables that we will be using will be the plastic ones, okay, and obviously they will be cleaned at the end of every session. And I'm just going to literally wander through the door. As you can see on the door, there is the fire exit plan. Just to say that we do not plan to do any drills of either the carbon monoxide or fire alarms. So if the alarms do go off, all the information of what your children should be doing is actually on the doors and around the building. area. As you can see, this is cautioned off at the moment, which means no campfires for the time being, but we do have the fire pits, and if we do want to do some marshmallow toasting, that's what we're going to use within the car parking area, which would mean obviously for leaders that cars will need to be parked away from the Scout Hall just for the time being, to allow us the space for the young people to enjoy their activities outside. Okay, so whilst we were in the car park, I showed you two sets of lines. One were at the front of the building and one were at the side. So there is a one-way system in place, sort of. So we're coming in through that door, and then when we leave our meeting, we'll be leaving that door. Of course, making sure we make a stop at the sanitizer on the way out of the building before we go back to our parents. Again, there will be a leader on the gate ready and to hand the children back to the parents. So obviously here's the kitchen. Nothing much has changed in here, to be honest, except for a few new items of PPE. So we have our aprons and we have our soap dispenser, but other than that, nothing else has changed. But the one thing that has changed is that for safety and keeping a safe distance, only 2 people can be in here at a time. So with the older section, Scouts and Guides, it would probably be 2. Younger sections, we might, and the children are little, we might be able to get away with 3. But as a precaution, the sign on the door says 2, so that's what we're going to do at the moment. So we've had a few little changes to the toilets since you've been away. A bit bright, I think, now. But also, if we come in here, we have our new soap dispensers, our hand towels. We've got all our posters on the wall to give the young people all the information they need about their hand washing, and of course our new bin. And pride of place at the moment, a new hand dryer that actually works. So over here we have our cleaning cupboards, one of our cleaning cupboards for the kitchen and the bathroom supplies. As you can see, it's already fitted with a lock. Again, on this one, access only by adults, no guides, no scouts, no junior leaders, no rangers, just adults only. Moving along to the second toilet, there is the cleaner's cupboard, and again that is fitted with a lock, and only adults, no junior leaders, no rangers, no scouts, no guides are to access that. That is purely for adults only. So that brings us to the end of our virtual tour of the Quedgeley Scout and Guide Hall. I hope it's been insightful, and I hope it gives you some indication of our expectations with regards to meetings, and also how we are continuing to keep your children safe. Of course, we don't know what the future holds, and September things might be entirely different, but we hope to welcome all our children back here very, very soon. Bye!